Hi Holly, how are you today?
Hey, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me to talk a little bit about your experience. So I'm just going to shoot straight in and ask you some questions, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Fabulous. So if you think back to before you started with ALM Fitness, what was your biggest struggle relating to your health and fitness?
I would say probably food. So just like a lifetime of bad habits and not the best attitude to it. And I think I kind of felt that you were either a foodie or you were like a healthy eater, fitness type, and that there wasn't sort of a balance to be had. And I knew which camp I was going to fall in. So definitely kind of used humour as a bit of a defence mechanism as well. The exercise side of things, I was probably starting to get a little bit better at the last few years, but still very much like just convinced myself that I was doing as much as I had time to do, kind of not looking at being a little bit more committed to it. So my own motivation, my own sort of fear of failure with it as well, definitely.
No, cool. And how did this make you feel as a person day-to-day life?
I don't think I really allowed myself to acknowledge how I felt particularly. I think again, just kind of using that humour side of it. So if we did as a family or friendship group do some we did a few kind of exercise challenges and things like that, and I think I just kind of very much played the role of the person that wasn't very fit and a bit overweight, so that there was no expectation, so whatever I managed to do was fine. There was no pressure on me, but actually I did feel quite self-conscious in any sort of situation like that about my body shape, about my fitness levels.
Yeah, so you kind of used it as you kind of put a mask on to make people think you weren't bothered, but actually deep down you were, and but you tried to kind of go, oh, I'm not bothered, and make yourself believe that you weren't bothered. But
yeah,
a lot of people do that. It's very normal. And so how long do you think this had been going on?
Always. Like, I think I mean certainly all my adult life. I was never like particularly a sporty person. I was never naturally slim, and then I think just over the years it catches up with you a bit more, doesn't it? You know, you have children and that affects it more, and you have to work that bit harder to lose any weight. Or to be fitter. So I think it was such a gradual process that I couldn't ever sort of pinpoint a moment. It was just, I feel like I'd always been like that.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. And so what was that tipping point that made you finally seek the help that you needed to address the issues that you had?
Definitely it was, I had a back injury. So about 4 months, I think, before I joined ALM. Frustratingly, I'd kind of been doing some more exercise than I had done previous years, and I was really enjoying open water swimming. Again, not a huge sort of weekly commitment to it, but I was doing more than I had been. And it was after I'd done a cold water swim, and it was shortly after that I felt this twinge, and then that was it. I'd got a bulging disc in my back. I was off work, and I was barely mobile really at home. And it was definitely like kind of being stuck at home and just feeling that restricted, that I've never felt like so aware of my weight, if that makes sense, like just physically just feeling that, and the lack of strength, and felt so frustrated at not being able to just get out and have a walk, like really those things that you just take for granted or perhaps feel like you don't want to do. I was suddenly really envious of people going out for runs and things like that, which was unheard of before. So I just thought I can't be that mum particularly that is kind of waving the kids off as they go off with dad to do some fun activity, you know, because I can't, because mummy's back. You know, I just didn't want that to be the future at all. So, you know, wanted to be a better role model and it was quite definitely that point, really.
I think when you sustain an injury, it makes you realise that we're not immortal, because although we know we're not, we kind of just take, you know, being mobile and stuff for granted, like day in, day out. We just think, and it's only when something happens, you're like, oh God, actually, no, I need to look after myself. I need to, I need to make sure that I'm, you know, mobile, healthy, everything else. And you kind of do think, oh, what will I miss out on if I can't do things? So yeah, I completely like get that. No. And so what have you achieved? So since joining, what have you achieved in this time? How's your life changed?
So much, honestly. Like, so it's been 11 months now, and I think it was the important thing for me was that it was the first time that I'd tried to sort of focus on something health and fitness related, where my primary aim wasn't to lose X amount of weight. So, you know, my motivation was very much like improving my back, improving my overall strength, being a better role model, all of that, which I feel like I definitely have achieved. But then inevitably, I suppose, weight loss was like a secondary to that. So I lost, well, I have lost 2 stone. I lost that probably, I think, within 5 months. So just, you know, gradual, consistent. And then I've maintained that weight loss since then. But I'm not like obsessively weighing myself all the time. I don't feel like I've compromised that food loving side of me. So yeah, it just feels more sustainable, I suppose. And but it's just become my lifestyle has just become different. So fitting in regular exercise is just, you know, it's high on my priority list. It's definitely higher than like tidying the house as I'm looking around me now. But you know, you find a way, don't you, to fit it in. But mainly, I think like the main achievement is that it's not that I've just managed to do that, it's that I've enjoyed it as well. Because I think before I just always felt like I'd enjoy the result and something that I felt I'd have to do, but that I wouldn't actually look at the classes as a bit of me time or, you know, enjoyment. But it's great. I love it.
And that's, do you know what, you hit the nail on the head with it. Like anything you do, you need to enjoy, because if you don't enjoy it, you know yourself, you're not going to stick to it. And it's spoken for itself. You got the results you like that you didn't necessarily set out to achieve, but some really good results in 5 months, and you've just kept the momentum going because you enjoyed it, not because you've gone, oh, I want to lose more. It's because it's become part of your lifestyle, and that's awesome. And you know, soon you're going to be doing the spring walk run with us, which is amazing. I'm very excited.
What is that all about? that was never something a foodie did.
Hey, I'm a foodie as well. I'm completely there with you. So if you thought like back a year and a half ago, would you have ever thought you would be signing up to run 10K through mud and obstacles?
Honestly, like my best friends are like, sorry, who are you? And hilariously, my 4-year-old, we were playing the heads up game, and it was like a nurse's hat. So I was like, oh, it's what mummy does for a job. And he went, working out.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so funny. I love the fact he associates you and working out. That's brilliant. Yeah. Oh, bless him. Oh, cool. That's awesome. And it's so nice to hear that it's changed your life in loads of ways. Not just, oh, it's a figure on the scales. It's everything. And you do look awesome. And so if you say you were to meet somebody who had had similar struggles to you in the past, you know, kind of tried to hide behind a bit of humour, tried to put it to the back of the mind, pretend maybe that they're not bothered about certain things, and they were sitting on the fence about joining ALM Fitness, what would you say to them? What would be your advice? So
seeing one of these video testimonials was the reason that I reached out to ALM in the first place, because it was somebody that I knew and I kind of just identified with a bit more. And I think I was sort of expecting there to be this like real epiphany moment of like, this, I need to change my life. And I think in reality, it probably doesn't happen like that very often. It's just about feeling brave enough to kind of just get the ball rolling and just make that first step. So I just contacted friend, and then her encouragement led me to sort of send that tentative text. And then, you know, before I knew it, I was signed up. And in all honesty, even when I signed up, I wasn't feeling like I was going into it all like fist pumped and like, yeah, I'm going to do this. You know, I was anxious that I wouldn't have what it takes, or, you know, be able to stick to it. So I think it's just don't expect that you're going to feel like that. Just know that if you just do that one thing, then it will happen, and you won't regret it. And yeah, you can't go wrong.
No, definitely. And that's the thing, I think in every area of life, we wait for the perfect moment, perfect opportunity, and think, oh, well, that's when then it will be right. But actually we need to, like you said, get the ball rolling, start the momentum, and everything else will just fit into place. You'll just make it work and fit into place. Which is exactly what you've done, which is brilliant. And so when you think about, I mean, I know you did a lot of online to start with, so I'm going to ask you for both online and in person. So when you did before your first online session, how did you feel logging on that day?
It wasn't nice. So yeah, I suppose the difficulty of it online was that in order to kind of see the instructor, I wasn't looking at anybody else, so I'd got it on the screen where it was just me and them, which was probably a good thing, because then you're not comparing yourself quite so much. But also I just totally convinced myself that I'd be doing it worse than everybody, I'd be doing it slower than everybody, that actually, despite what Jess had said, that everyone was actually amazingly fit, size 8 in crop tops and leggings, and and that I would just be this total disaster on the screen. And then I suppose then when I was in person, and that was quite a few months down the line, so I'd kind of got into my comfort zone, and then a lot of those anxieties came back again. So just thinking, oh, now I've got to show myself in front of other people. And then obviously no unnecessary worries, because it was all absolutely fine.
Yeah, so I was going to say, actually, were those feelings just, I mean, obviously they're justified, as in everybody's going to feel nervous. You're never going to be like, oh yeah, I'll be fine, especially if it's me. But do you feel that you got there and you were like, oh, felt at home almost, like completely, well, not at home, it's a fitness, you know, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely when after, you know, going to the in-person one, yeah, straight away I felt reassured. I think that first finishing the first online session, it was mainly just like, oh, relief, I've done it, but also I was a bit overwhelmed still, I think, just like the concentration, and probably pushed myself too far because didn't want to seem as unfit as I was, but then that's kind of that is quickly replaced. So, you know, you get your supportive messages, and then you just have that feeling of, oh, I've done it, I've done that first one, so actually how is another session ever going to feel as hard as that? Because that's that first step, isn't it?
Because it's everything. It's not just that the exercise is feeling hard, it's you've built yourself up to whatever expectation you've got, because you don't know until you've done it. And then, yeah, you're right, the hardest step is logging on, doing your first session, or stepping through the door when you come to Inkborough. But yeah, and it's lovely to see you being at some more of the in-person now, and it works well for you to have the mix, doesn't it? So
absolutely, yeah, that really helps. I don't think I would have been able to be as committed without both options.
Yeah. Oh no, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time, Holly. I will let you get on with your day. And yeah, thank you very much. And I'll see you at a session soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
Bye.